Muhammad Ali, which used to be Cassius Clay, the great fighter, arguably one of the greatest fighters ever, he was talking shit since he's 14, 15 years old, I'm the greatest, before he ever had a professional fight. In athletics, it's more accepted to talk shit. Okay? You've been trained, keep your head down, don't embarrass yourself, don't embarrass the family, don't say things that may not happen. And I do just the opposite. I tell you to set goals beyond your lifetime. I tell you to set goals as soon as humanly possible. When kids come to me, they want to make 1 million, 10 million, you know, and then when they've made 100 million, they say, Mr. Pena, we would have never, ever dreamt that we could create 100 million until we met you. You will never exceed your highest expectation. You will never exceed your highest, craziest thought. Never. That's a guarantee. And so then why, other than you've been taught by your parents in conventional wisdom, to set low goals? They've told you, the theory is you set low goals so then you can stair-step achievement and you won't be as disappointed when you fail. That's the theory. But normally the person or the persons that have proposed that theory are poor. 98% of all the people on the planet that are high performance are introverts. You don't say what you really feel. Introverts is you don't act as if you really wanted to show the person that you don't disagree with them. Introverts are when your parents were telling you shit when you were growing up, you just put your head down and kept your mouth shut. And that's why you're introverted now as adults. As you can plainly see, I wasn't raised that way. My father said, if you've got something in your mind, it should come out of your lips. If you've got something in your mind, it should come out your mouth, Dan. And God knows, I took it to heart, and I've lived that way all my life. At the TED Talk I gave a couple of days ago, which Michael was there to talk to the kids, it was quite interesting when I told them that I've been talking like this since I was a teenager. I've been talking shit since I'm a teenager.
Which is some time ago.
Well, I'll be 74 in a couple months, so it is some time ago. But the point is that I had self-esteem. I didn't know till I got grown up and was an adult that everybody didn't have self-esteem. I didn't understand that. I didn't realize that everybody didn't have self-confidence. I didn't realize that everybody didn't have self-worth. Because the kids that I hung with all were like I was. Because their parents were like, gave them a good role model. Most of the people that come to people like Michael or any of the gurus out there, and I call him a guru, come to them because you were lacking something in your childhood. In my particular case, a lot of people come to me because I'm the alpha male father they never had. I asked the question a couple of days ago, how many of you can raise your hand, but how many of you have kids? Fuck, too bad, but anyway, you have kids, okay? Don't raise your hand now. How many of you would like to have your kids grow up just like your parents? You know the answer, don't you? Close to zero. Because they were shitty role models. Don't you understand? Don't you get it? You think Elon Musk wants to fit in? We know the answer is no, right? You want to fit in because you had poor role models at home. Most everybody in this room is a pleaser. You want to be liked. When I read about that people commit suicide because they were unliked on Facebook, it makes me sick to my stomach. How can the world get that fucked up that because of fucking Facebook, people are going to kill themselves? What have we come to? God Almighty. Don't you see there's something fundamentally wrong with that? Hungry for a better life. Hungry for change. Hungry for the tough love their parents didn't give them.
So is that what it needs? You have to be hungry. You need to feel the pain.
Growth only comes through pain. You probably don't have any athletes in the audience. But anyway, for those that have read about being an athlete, no pain, no gain. It's the same in life. Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Dan Pena, Ted Turner, amongst a whole bunch of others, all had one thing in common. We all slept in our office the first 5 or 10 years of our business life. Slept in our office the first 5 or 10 years of our business life. Now, Nyarota, which I had the privilege of teaching at back in the 90s, Erasmus, which I had the privilege of teaching at back in the 90s, and the University of Amsterdam, which I had the privilege of teaching at back in the 90s, I used to ask the question, how many classes have you had in buying a business? Nobody raised their hand. How many classes have you had in selling a business? Nobody raised their hand. How many classes have you had in leadership? Nobody raised their hand. Now I'm here to tell, because I checked last week, those 3 fine universities still don't have any classes in those 3 subjects. So they're not teaching you how to sell your business. They're not teaching you how to buy a business. Arguably, they're only teaching you how to run a business. 75% of all bank loans on the planet are made the last 90 days of the calendar year. I'm going to say it again. 75% of all bank loans made in the world are made the last 90 days of the year. Why? Because they want to get the money out the door so they can pay Christmas bonuses. Now that's a pretty shitty reason. But if the bankers were fucking smart, they wouldn't be fucking bankers, would they? Business startups fail the first year. Up to 90% of all business startups. So, if it almost sounds when you read those things that the odds are against you. Well, no, I look at it just the opposite. I look that means that most of you aren't going to try. Not you, but I mean most of the audiences I speak to won't try. So that means the opportunities that are there are going to be more for me. And especially now, even though I've been pounding on my chest for 3 or 4 years that the lowest interest rates in 5,000 years, if you go to the bank, ING Bank, call up the bank manager and ask him, when was the last time interest rates were this low? He can't tell you. Probably in his career of 25 years of banking, they haven't been this low.
So how can it be if entrepreneurs go to the bank and won't get the money? What are the reasons?
It's a numbers game. For those of you that I'm going to say it as a guy, because I can't relate to this as a woman. A guy is 20 pretty girls. Okay, the first one that you asked out on a date, or can I buy you a drink? Do guys still buy drinks for girls at bars? Yeah? Okay. We haven't sunk that low yet, okay. So, the first one may not want you to buy her a drink, right? The way some of you look, I can't see, you'd have to pay them money to buy you a drink, buy them a drink. By the way, you only have 2 times to make a first impression. First is how you look. Second is when you open your big fucking mouth. Most of you won't ask the girl if you can buy them a drink because you get nervous, you step on your dick. It's a numbers game. There are, last time I counted, there's about 300 banks in the Netherlands. 315, I think. I used to ask, how many have made a presentation to a banker today? This week? This month? This year? Ever? 4 hands went up. 5 hands. That's about right. 5 out of 250 people, that's about right. So how can you tell me this doesn't work? So you've been deluded, scared, into not taking action. Most of you have been taught taking action is listening to a podcast. Taking action is reading a book. Taking action is taking a course online. No. Taking action is pulling the fucking trigger. You know, I say in 4 words what most people say in a book. Just fucking do it. That's taking action. You don't get the third pretty girl to say yes to buy her a drink unless you ask her, right? I'm intellectually, I'm a genius. 2, I'm extremely quick. And I chop people like you up for fucking not even breakfast. That's what they're afraid of. But the bankers are slower than you. They're slower than you. And when you come in with a script that you took off my site for free, they're gonna think you are fucking Warren Buffett.
Now, why don't people do it?
They don't do it because, number 1, most people don't want to get out of their comfort zone. They're comfortable.
Thank you, Mr. Pena.
Thank you very much. Have a good time.